My name is Matthew Johnson. I have the privilege of interviewing the council candidates for the November election. I'm here with Judy Lemon. Judy, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Very good. I believe you prepared a statement today.
Yes, I did. My name is Judy Lemon. I have lived in Galesburg since 1972. I am a visible resident because of my biking, running, and walking. And then it goes on with my history. I was an employee of Galesburg Augusta Schools for 26 years. I taught physical education for 3 years in the elementary school as a volunteer because the position had been cut and I wanted my kids to have that education. As a bus driver, I had the opportunity to meet all the kids and parents. 22 of the 26 years I transported special education students. My education started out at Borges School of Nursing. After 1.5 years, I changed directions and became a career in physical education at Western Michigan University, graduating in 1972. I substitute taught for 3 years and continued my 3 to 11:30 shift at Pitt Community Hospital. The arrival of our 2 daughters in 1975 and 77 kept me home for 7 years. We had an abundance of teachers in 1982 when I returned to the workforce, but they needed bus drivers. I substitute taught for 3 years while driving. I was a water safety instructor for Kalamazoo County for 20 years, teaching swimming and training and certifying lifeguards. 17 years for Comstock Township, Robert Morris Park. I retired in 2008. I have been a member of Planning and Zoning since 2009. I served on the City Council from 2015 to 2018. I have helped with projects with the DDA, volunteered with Loaves and Fishes from 2013 to 2016, and tried to be available when needed. My community requested me to come back to council. Their requests are fix the roads, get a handle on city functions, continue to clean up and enforce ordinances in the city, encourage new business opportunities. We need a bank.
Yeah, so
That's it.
It's safe to say you've been part of the community for quite a bit.
Yes, I
You have
have.
an idea about what they want. You listed quite a few things at the very end there that the city wants, and the city is growing. It's a beautiful town with a lot of great residents. Out of those few things you listed, what are if you had to put them in order, what would you most want to address first? What do you believe the city of Galesburg wants most?
I just got through passing out over 300 flyers to let the people in the city know about our free dump boxes down at the city park. And I had the opportunity to talk to a lot of people. Our income level here in Galesburg is not big. We have large families ranging from 2 to 5 kids. The homes that they live in are ones that they are working very hard to improve and to bring up from years of neglect. Higher education is something that a lot of them desire but cannot afford. So they are working in what I call minimum wage to jobs in the range of $15 to $20 an hour with no benefits. I feel for them because I'm on my way out. I'm 71 years old. And I'm hoping that these young kids will realize their need is here to help direct the city. My 2 daughters were lucky. We saved, we put them through college, they graduated without debt. They were both hired during their senior years. They graduated from college and went right straight to their first professional job. And I'm very proud of that. I paid for my own college education, and it can be done. But I know the cost of college is greater than when my kids graduated in 2000 and 2001. But we paid for 12 years of college, and we did it. So
do you feel these issues are being addressed now?
There's several different ways of going to college. You don't have to live on campus. You don't have to live in a fancy apartment. If you go to Western Michigan University, live at home. Get a job. My daughters both worked all the way through college. And they both had paper routes when they were 11 and 12 years old. So there's a reason why they are successful female professionals that they are today. They know the value of work. And that's the long and short of it.
If you were to join city council this fall, well, in January, I should say, what would be the first thing you do to help these kids coming up in the city of Galesburg be able to do what your daughters have been able to do?
I try to do everything I can for the young families that are in our neighborhood. They are struggling, and this COVID-19 has not been an asset. Do some of the things that the city seems to be focused on right now are irrelevant to these people. They would like to have their roads repaired. They would like to have city services to assist them as far as, when I was a kid, we had clinics where the county came in and vaccinated our children. We had clinics that came in and gave free dental, cleaning, and examination. These are all things that, you know, I don't hear about anymore. And these kids could use those services. But yet we seem to be focusing on things that are present in bigger cities. Like some of the positions that we're filling right now are just irrelevant to the needs of these people.
So you bring up bigger cities. Obviously, Galesburg is
2,000.
2,000 residents. It's obviously not the size of Kalamazoo.
I came from Kalamazoo.
Yeah.
I was born and raised in Kalamazoo. I know the difference.
So how would you want to work with other city governments to help the city of Galesburg?
I guess my first step would be to go to the county and see if there is such a thing as some of these medical assistant programs that we could bring into Galesburg. Loaves and Fishes is almost, I think we're down to 2 days. We were 5 days with Loaves and Fishes. For some reason, our I don't know if our customers have gone elsewhere, but that has shrank. The service projects that we have going, we didn't have our Easter egg hunt this year. That's DDA. We're not going to have, I don't know if we're going to have our Halloween get together. That's DDA. We have our sports programs in the high school and the middle school. Those are all, you know, bit by bit. And it's sad to see all of this put on hold. And I'm not saying that the crime is up in my neighborhood, but I can see where the lack of our code enforcement is really starting to show again. And our code enforcement officer worked very hard for 2 years, and we were seeing improvements. And people keep asking, where is he? We have issues. We would like to discuss these with somebody. And there's no one to go to.
So recently, we started streaming the city council meetings to YouTube, to Facebook. The biggest thing I've seen is that there's been a lack of transparency.
Yes.
How do you feel that has changed just in this past year? And how would you like to push that a little bit more forward?
Because of the lack of transparency, our attendance the last 2 years that I was on council was going up. I continued to go to council meetings even after I wasn't on council anymore. And we were averaging probably 30 people or more at those meetings. And there wasn't anything special that would bring them there, you know, not anything controversial. But the people were starting to get their heads in the game. They were getting interested. And now they feel like they're being shut out. They're being, you know, a no need to know sort of deal. And that's not true. They need to know. During our warmer months this summer, why didn't we have outdoor meetings? Other communities were holding outdoor meetings. You distance them, put them outside, put masks on them. They would at least have felt like they were part of the process.
And along with city council, you said you were a part of planning and zoning. and we've been able to stream a few of those, but certain board members haven't showed up to the point where meetings haven't been able to have been held.
Right.
Do you feel as if you were able to join city council that you would be able to make that change where all these scheduled meetings would be able to happen, that way the community would know exactly what is happening, when it's happening, and why it's happening?
We have one member that has had, it's almost like infant congestive heart failure. To put a mask on him is impossible. So for our last meeting that I wasn't going to be able to be there, I tried to get him to wear one of the visors. And he said, Judy, I think the whole process is a bunch of bunk. And I'm not going to wear one of your visors. And he says, well, you know, your nose and your mouth would be totally open. You wouldn't feel, you know, the confines of a mask. And he said, no. We've been short. Our membership has been short since I've been on, since 2009. We'll get it up to 6, maybe 7 people. I do believe we're supposed to have 9. And we've never been able to have that many. We've lost members due to illness or death. It's very frustrating. When we had our first meeting in May, and the enforcement officer had been let go, our building inspector had been let go, and those were both integral parts of our planning and zoning, gone. And I'm going, really? It's like shooting holes in the bottom of the boat. And we've never been able to recover from those losses. It's just, they're gone. So what do you do?
From my understanding, planning and zoning is you can apply to become it, you do not
Yes.
have to be elected. So if you were to be elected to city council, would you try to make a push to the community to join these other councils?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. We had to give up one of our members because as our numbers have dwindled, we have more city council people on there than community. And according to the city lawyer, we can't have that many seats being filled by city council. So that was something I didn't know about. So we were just glad to have him because he showed up.
So how would you be personally available if anyone had questions about joining or had questions about their community, any changes that are happening, say they missed the live stream or they weren't able to attend? How would you be personally available to your constituents to explain to them what's happening?
I'm in these city streets all day, and they all know where I live, and my phone number's in the phone book, so I am accessible.
Would you be willing to get email or have some sort of open door, or is it just phone, or would there be other ways to get a hold of you?
Telephone, that's it.
Telephone?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So how do you keep up with current federal, state, and local issues? You say you're in the city of Galesburg, you're riding your bike around, so you understand Galesburg, from my understanding, very well. But in terms of the state of Michigan, in terms of federal, how do you keep up with, especially now with things changing so fast?
I religiously watch the 11 o'clock news on Channel 3. I find they are the most honest and straightforward. We watch PBS at 7 every evening. Whenever I have a chance, I read the Kalamazoo Gazette cover to cover. I have subscriptions to Smithsonian, Michigan Historical, Reader's Digest, and they offer a lot of insight and information. Yes, I do a lot of reading. Yeah.
How do you personally utilize that information to help the city of Galesburg, and how would you, when you get elected, if you get elected, how would you use that information?
I would bring, if it's something that I feel that we can use to help move a situation or problem along and get it directed into the right avenue or help or whatever. Yeah.
All right, Judy, is there anything else that you would like to say to your constituents?
Yes, if someone could give me a call. The sign is down at the bank, what is going on there. And the other one is we have a new fence going up down the center of the former farmers market between Battle Creek Street and Michigan. It's just a parking lot for the brick house on Michigan. Those are two things I noticed, and I would love to have a bank back in the city. That would be great.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Good luck in this November election.
Thank you.
What are the top three priorities the city council needs to address 2021 going forward? Sorry, you need me to repeat myself. What are the top three priorities in the city council that needs to be addressed for 2021? What are your top?
Fix the roads. Get a handle on city function. We're in a runaway type situation right now. We need an enforcement of ordinances in the city. Our city's going downhill again. Encourage new business opportunities, and we need a bank. There it is in a nutshell. I don't think we should be trying to pattern Galesburg after a larger city. It's not applicable to what we've got. We've always struggled budget-wise, and I don't know where all this money's coming from that seems to be flowing so freely.
When you
So-
say money, what money do you mean?
I have no idea.
Well, I'm just,
After being involved with city budget for 4 years, for being on council, it seemed like it was always tight, that we, in order to meet an unexpected expense, we borrowed from here and put it in this fund in order to cover that expense. But it wasn't like we had a goose laying golden eggs. And that's what the community is feeling, that where's this money coming from?
Spending the money on is what I'm getting at, like that you think is unnecessary.
I was not in favor of a city manager. I felt that our city office personnel were running the city. They were getting the job done. And exactly what has our city manager done? I don't know.
Can you talk about lack of transparency that the previous years have given, and and do you feel like there is more transparency now?
No, they've gone underground. And that's the biggest complaint of the people in this city. What's going on? And it's very frustrating. And people are getting angry. And I understand.
Do you feel with it being streamed now, or it eventually being open to the public, do you think that would help, or do you think that streaming has hurt it a little bit more?
It has limited the ability of the majority of our people to be able to see. When you're at a city council meeting, let's say an issue comes up and there's questions, those people in the audience can direct those questions to city council. And supposedly, I'm told, they can do the same thing at home when they're streaming the meeting. But one hit of a stroke and they can cut you off. And that's what they're feeling is happening to them. When they go to ask a question, they're gone. And it's like are they being deliberately cut off? I don't know. I don't stream. I've asked my neighbor across the street if I could come over and sit in their living room and watch a meeting. We just haven't been able to hook up.
Can I ask I don't want to dwell into streaming so much just because it's my business, but can I ask you who specifically has voiced that they can't ask their questions?
Not
specifically, but is there a specific one that I guess?
The person that complained to me was Jenny Mulder, and she lives on Washington Street. Her and her husband, she has a business, a cleaning business, and he has an insulation business. My neighbors across the street, Kay and Bill Walker, they are hesitant about asking questions, but they do stream the meetings. And I told them, I said, I'd like to, come over, just see one, just to see what it's like. I know we had a meeting on Monday. I buried 2 friends this week, and I was a little tied up. I'm not going to give up on the idea of trying to see a meeting, but it is very, very limiting. It's like going underground.
Well, I guess I have to ask you the question of, it's COVID related, the fact that we've had to, parentheses what you say, go underground. I mean, this isn't political, people are at risk for death. So, I mean, what are your thoughts there when you say they've had to go underground? Because that's...
Even council members have come up and talked to me, and they said, did you know that there was 3 city council members that had a meeting today? And I said, well, aren't you on city council? Yeah, last time I thought I was. Things like that. I mean, come on. Is there only certain people that are allowed to come to these meetings? I don't know.
So there is a calendar on the website. Right on the home.
Yes, I know.
Yep.
On August, I was supposed to have a planning and zoning meeting. We gathered here outside the door of the city hall, and nobody was here. And I'd called all my members, but no one had called me to let me know that, no, there was not going to be a planning and zoning meeting, but it was on the calendar. And then when an issue was made about, well, how come, we weren't notified, all of a sudden, psst, it disappeared off the calendar. Pretty clever, isn't it? That's why I like hard copy.
I'm just going to stop you right there. It goes off the calendar after the day, so...
Right.
Right, so it's a calendar.
No, it was on the calendar. As the issue was made about how come we didn't have our meeting, how come people on the committee were not notified, and it was on the calendar for almost a week.
So
before.
Yep, I understand. During that month, right? It would have been beneficial, in my eyes, if everybody has an email address, group you all in together in a group to make sure we're all set for that meeting instead of calling.
And why do you think I call them?
Well, I mean, not everybody is available. I think you call them, but how much time does that take out of people's day? This is just my opinion of me being younger.
And what?
It is in an email, in a group. You all have that together.
What do you say in your email?
What do you mean?
Planning and zoning meeting, August the 2nd, 6 o'clock. Is that what your email says?
Confirm. I'm just giving you an idea.
Okay.
Of what an email would be.
Okay.
To confirm the night before. Confirm we're doing this.
Okay. When I call them, we have a quick rundown of what we accomplished in the July meeting and what we are anticipating on doing this August meeting. Mm-hmm. And sometimes people get, why don't you bring this? Why don't you be prepared to do this? Those are the kind of things that we talk about. Now, does every member of the planning and zoning, I share that information with each one, but not everybody is involved with the certain tasks. That's why I telephone.
Should everybody not be involved in a certain task?
They all know about it. They are all aware. When I call them, they all are aware of our proposed agenda, what we covered in the July meeting, especially if you weren't there, and what we are anticipating on covering in our present meeting. We had a parking ordinance that we started working on way back in January and February. It had culminated to the point where we were getting ready to vote on it. We vote on it. We don't have any power as to implement it. It has to go to city council. So then it goes to, our meetings are after city council, so then it would have been voted on in September. We didn't have a meeting. So we had this parking ordinance ready to go. And then we didn't have enough for a quorum because of the issue of too many council members. So now it's been delayed, and now we're going to try to implement it in our October meeting, which means it won't be voted on until November. So our next planning and zoning meeting, we hope, is going to be a public hearing so that they can review this parking ordinance. Then it's got to go back to council. So instead of having our parking ordinance implemented in September, now it's going to be December.
And when you say too many council members, you should also state that there's not enough members and that there needs to be more participation in the community.
Yes, and if you can figure out how to get people to volunteer one evening a month for 2 hours, that's it. That's all. And it's not happening. And that's the sad part. And it's not only at city, planning and zoning, but it's all of our different organizations. So like I said, these young people have got to step up. Okay? They got to throw their hat in the ring.
Thank you, Judy.
Thank you.